Welcome back to the channel. Today I have some unfortunate news. I am getting kicked out of one of my shops. So what I'm gonna have to do today, actually it's probably gonna take maybe 2 to 3, hopefully not the whole week, but it's gonna be a lot of stuff to move. So I have cars I have to move, I have parts I have to move, I just have a bunch of stuff that I have to move to my other shop, which now pretty much that shop is going to be useless because it's going to be so full of stuff. So you know, it's kind of disappointing. I need to find a place now, or like I need to find something that is one place for all my stuff, or I need to build something. I'm not exactly sure, but the prices right now are so high. I was trying to wait another 8 months because what I'm thinking is by the end of the year, or you know, by the beginning of next year, that all the prices and everything are gonna pretty much drop on lumber and supplies, and probably the market is going to crash. So that being said, I'm in kind of a pickle because this isn't 8 months from now, it is right now. So yeah, let's get down to the shop, start loading my truck up. I need to, you know, move some cars. I need to take my trailer with me, and we'll just kind of go from there. But one thing that I really don't like is moving. And it has to happen today. So let's get to work and get this stuff done so then we can get back to work on the Charger. Unfortunately, they sold the shop complex, so I am having to move everything out of my shipping containers, which I have my 240Z and my 240SX in this one, and then I just have a bunch of stuff in here. So I'm gonna move all this stuff over one of the shops, and then I've already sold the containers, so container prices have actually skyrocketed. So I actually am pretty excited about selling them, and I'm not excited about selling them at the same time, just because that you know, they're nice things to have to store stuff in. But you know, I don't want to have to worry about the new owners of this property. It looks like they're doing a bunch of crazy stuff already. They want to pretty much rent this whole back section for a quarter acre each, for like $700 a quarter acre. So I'd rather just get rid of these, and then later on I could buy some more containers. But yeah, let's get all this stuff out of the containers, which I don't think there's too much left in this one, and there's just cars in this one. So hopefully, you know, we can just get all this stuff wrapped up really quick. Just loaded up the first load of stuff, and pretty much all this stuff is just like 240K and SR stuff, some Z32, pretty much all Nissan stuff. Let's just go with that. And yeah, let's I need to kind of consolidate it. I think these are from the 300ZX. I just kept them because I can make them into something. I think I have some AMG calipers somewhere. I'll probably just end up listing those, as well as some Lexus big brake calipers. I'll probably just end up listing those too, just so they're not sitting around, because I haven't used them in like 5 years. So there's no reason for me to hold on to them any longer. So I have the second load of stuff, and actually the neighbors were moving out as well, and they're throwing away this plastic pallet, which these things are pretty awesome. And then they're also throwing away a piece of plywood, and everybody knows right now that plywood is like $10,000 a sheet. So what I'm gonna do is, I really need to organize a bunch of stuff, but right now I'm more focused on getting the stuff moved out of the shipping containers, and you know, then later on I'll get everything pretty much organized. So this place is going to probably be a disaster for a little bit, just because I need to worry about working on the Charger. Also, what I'm going to do is, I have the knuckles and the lower control arms right here for the from the Trackhawk for the Charger, and then I'll pretty much take that back down to the Junkyard, because I'll be putting all the drivetrain together at the Junkyard, so I don't need that here, and just kind of go from there. But yeah, it's like everybody is moving out of that shop complex, just because they're like just raising the rent crazy to like $2,000 a unit from like $1,200. So yeah, let's pretty much, and then I need to get my friend's car wired up. So usually my plan when I first redid the shop and reorganized it was to never have a car here, just because I wanted to have all this extra room right here, so I could have room to work on stuff if I wanted to, you know, pull the engine hoist over. But then my friend wanted to drop this car off, and I just haven't had time to wire it up, so it's just really been sitting in here, and I didn't want to leave it outside because I didn't want anything to happen to it. So just finished the last load out of the 20 foot, and it's kind of getting thick. So what I need to really do is this shelf right here is the only one that I've really organized. And I guess the very top shelf is organized, but there's still room on the top shelf and there's still some room on that shelf. So what I need to do is I moved all my paint stuff from this shelf right here over to here so I can access it a little bit better. Right now you can't tell because the floor is just covered in shit. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna make half of this section of this shelf paint supplies, and then I could easily access them and get to what I need. And then all this stuff right here, this is a big wasted space right here. It's just a bunch of just wiring and just random stuff that really doesn't need to take up a shelf. I have, you know, stuff up here for the FD 3000 and then bumpers. Then I also have FD bumpers up there. So bumpers do take up quite a bit of space. And then I have wheels and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do with half of this shelf right here is have all the tools that are in boxes. I had a bunch of Milwaukee cases. All the Milwaukee tools come in cases. You pull them out, you never use a case, you just keep it. They're taking up a bunch of space. I just threw them away. So, and then I have these totes of 240 parts for my 240SX that I'm gonna put back together probably pretty soon so I can put the VVL in it. I put the rotary kind of over here, and then there's the CD09 for the VVL, and then there's the tranny for the RX-7 as well. So yeah, we're just, you know, right now I need to probably dedicate like a week into reorganizing all this stuff, but I need to work on the charger and start working on the subframe and get all that stuff done. So pretty much it's, you know, probably gonna look like a disaster in here for maybe a month or so. So I also took the Trackhawk spindles and lower control arms and all the Trackhawk parts that I had here over the Junkyard, just because I need it over there when I bring the charger and the when I get the Trackhawk. I was talking to another company about getting a dropout, but it was weird. They told me to DM them on Instagram. I did, and then they told me to call them. I did, and then they acted like they didn't know who I was, and it was just like, okay, well, I could buy a Trackhawk for 45 grand, or you know, I could pay $32,000 for a dropout. So, and then I could have more parts than what I need, and then I could get rid of, you know, the interior's worth $6 grand, and then, you know, piecing out the body panels and stuff like that. So, or I could put the Trackhawk back together and have a Trackhawk. So, yeah, we'll just revisit this when the time comes, but right now it is not that time. So let's I need to go back over and start getting ready to move cars, because I have the 240Z and my blue coupe that the VVL is going into. I've already moved the RB down to the Junkyard. That's for the 240Z. So yeah, quite a bit of stuff. It'll be nice to actually have the 240Z and the 240SX at a spot where I can work on them instead of them being in a shipping container. It just, you just kind of don't see them. They're out of sight, they're out of mind. And we'll just kind of go from there. And then I guess right now I'm just more worried about the charger finishing it for SEMA than all this stuff. This was just one of those things that I didn't want to have happen, and it just got thrown in there. So yeah, let's get back over there and get some more of this stuff pulled out. A 40-foot shipping container, and the 240Z, all the tires are flat. It's been sitting here for quite a while, so I'm gonna put some air in the tires. These wheels, I don't even know what these are, but I think they're pretty rare. And yeah, I'd get this thing rolling again, get this gas station sign out of underneath it. That's a Sylvia, an actual right-hand drive Sylvia AC condenser, kind of got squished. I forgot what it got squished by. 3000 GT bumper, which I'm probably just gonna throw in that parts car. And then this is another Sylvia aero bumper. I have a few spares of these just because they're hard to come by. And yeah, then there's my blue 240 coupe that the VVL is gonna go into. This is my high school car. I built this in like 2005, 2006. And I had to I started fixing the strut tower. So I had coilovers on it when they painted it. I had a quarter panel replaced, and then they thought the strut towers were bent, so they pulled everything over. And as you can see from that hole right there, it's not a circle anymore. It's kind of like some weird shape. So I need to pretty much strip this thing down and put all new parts on it. Pretty much what I did to the Hellcat, and then this thing will be ready for the engine bay to be painted. The rest of the car, you know, it's all painted, and I don't know if I'll be able to match it or not because it's such an old paint job. The trunk, I think some stuff started to show through after a while, but overall it looks good. So I definitely want to get this thing back together with the VVL, get it back driving. I'll probably have to end up maybe repainting the whole car. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, 240s like this are very hard to come by, especially clean ones. Obviously the front sheet metal is messed up, but I'll have that fixed and fix it right. This whole stack of booth filters right here, these are all paint booth filters. I was just saving them because I could stick them in here and there's no reason not to. I'm probably just gonna throw them all away because I don't need them, so get rid of all of these. And then pretty much all this stuff on the ground is 240SX parts. I have spare trunks, I have a pretty rare wing for a coupe, I have a bunch of dashes, and just a bunch of stuff. I actually have a garnish back there for a 180SX. And yeah, so let's get to work getting all this stuff out of here. The tire's all aired up on a Z. Now I'm gonna move the gas station sign and we can push this out, and it probably hasn't been outside in 4 to 5 years. He's been sitting in here too long, so the shoes, I had the parking brake on. I probably should have done that, and the 240 parking brake's on, I think. So I'm gonna have to drag it up with, drag it kind of out. Hopefully it breaks the shoes loose, and just kind of go from there. Cars are out of the shipping container, and what I'm going to do is move all these boxes just up against the wall, and then it'll give me better access to get to stuff in the back. Cars unloaded off the trailer. I had a few odds and ends that I put back in the cars that I didn't want in there when I was driving it and towing it, so I only had enough Gorilla Tape to tape the back glass in on the 240Z. The front glass I put in the truck, and I was very careful with it because it's a good window or windshield with no chips on it. So another thing about my 240 right here, so I've had both of these for a very long time. I've had this car since I'd say 2010, and I haven't driven this car since 2009. So I built this in high school. I didn't paint it back then because I really didn't know much about cars. So I had it painted by a body shop, and it looked great when I was in high school, and I drove it through college. It was a really, really good car. But now that I've done body work, I paint my own cars, I know what to look for and, you know, how paint's supposed to look. I mean, before I was like, the car's shiny. I mean, it looks great. I mean, it does look great, but now when I look at the side of the car, you can see multiple waves. You can see it looks like there's, you know, some filler right here going up and right there, and they really didn't block it out. They probably just DA'd it. That whole door is like that. The quarter panels aren't too bad, but there are a few things here and there, and it doesn't look like they're door dings. It just looks like it's something they didn't fix when they painted the car. Back, I think it was in 2006, I paid $3 grand to have this thing painted. Also, when they did all the paint, I had a quarter panel replaced with a brand new one, but they messed up my strut towers, so I had coilovers, which I'm gonna put back on here because it really doesn't like driving around with these factory struts because the strut towers are so messed up. But I had coilovers on it, add a little bit of camber. They pulled the strut towers to get rid of the camber, so it was in spec, which just pretty much messed a bunch of stuff up. So that's why it looks like this. I started tearing it apart, and then I ended up moving to Minnesota, and pretty much it just sat in the shipping container, or no, it sat in my semi-trailer with the 240Z. Then I got the shipping containers. Then I moved it to the shipping containers when I got back. It sat in the shipping containers for like 5 years. And I've just pretty much just been saving up parts and stuff for the 240Z and the 240SX. So the 240Z, I have a lot of, I almost said Sylvia parts, but I have a lot of brand new JDM, NOS, marker lights, rear tail lights, just a bunch of stuff for it. I have a whole new, I think a carpet and weather stripping kit. Those wheels on it, I think I got them on Craigslist like in 2012 or something, but they're I've never seen another set, and I really haven't looked what the markings were. They're just kind of cool. I'll probably get larger rims for it because I am putting the RB30 in it. So I have this RB30 block. I actually have an R34 head. That was just a mock-up R32 GTR head. And then I have a RB automatic bell housing, and I'll have to figure out what tranny. I was gonna make it all-wheel drive, but at this point, 240Zs are going for so much. Back then, I got this one for $1,000. I found it in a barn at this old lady's house. It was her husband's. She was having a yard sale or a garage sale or something. And I was like, hey, that looks like a 240Z. She's like, oh yeah, I was thinking about listing it. I was like, how much do you want for it? She's like, $1,000. And I was like, sold. So I got it. It was complete, but it did have, you know, it looked like they painted it with a roller. It's back here. You can kind of see the paint job. It looked just like this. It hasn't changed much. It also had all this tape and stuff on it. It had all the glass and all the interior. I still have all that stuff. Most of the stuff that was bad, I threw away. And some of the plastics, I actually fixed them, and I just need to repaint them to look good again, or I might make carbon fiber ones. I'm not sure yet. But then I had a perfect hood, but I had hydroblasted. There's a video, an old video on my YouTube channel where the guy just warped the hood. He warped these fenders and then just told me to kick rocks. So I need to block these, probably prime these fenders, block them out, see where I'm at. Also, what I want to do with the 240. So I want to get this thing running and driving. I want to get this thing running and driving. And what I'm probably going to do is I may end up having the shop that did the Hellcat front clip. I might have that same shop weld this front clip on. I'll just chop one off and be like, you know, bill me when it's done. And then I'll paint the engine bay and paint it up to the door hinges. And then I'll probably block this thing out. Man, it's just crazy how many just like weird things where they didn't fix. Also, there's like this weird thing right here that they never fixed. And I never noticed any of this when I was you know, driving it around, because I didn't know anything about paint. So I just knew it was shiny. It looked great. So that's kind of, man, there's like stuff down here that did fix. I mean, just a bunch of stuff. So unfortunately, that's what you get when you take stuff to people to have it done, which I obviously figured that out because I paint all my own stuff now and pretty much do all my own work now. So also I got this, I have like 4 of these aero bumpers, which they do take up a lot of space. I just bolted this one to the car to so it wasn't just laying around. There's also another one that matches the color of the car inside the car, but man, look at that. There's also like a thing here. That's weird. That's crazy. I never noticed that. Took a little break from moving. Well, technically not a little break, but there was an ad on Facebook Marketplace for free plastic pallets, and I just got a few. There was stacks of these. So these are really nice because the wood pallets over time, if you have heavy stuff on them, even the plastic ones will do it, but plastic, these are more made to hold stuff. So, and they look a lot nicer and they're more uniform. They're all the same size and they slide together very nicely because they don't have that the wood planking sticking out of them. So I'm really happy that I got these for free. It'll just help clean up the shop a lot more. later on down the road. So in the next couple months, I'll be, swapping the wood pallets out for these pallets. Finished emptying out the 20-foot container. There are a few things still in here. So I'm gonna grab that little window thing, something from my old house that I was gonna do a project door that I never ended up doing it. But it's still a good piece that I could make something into or put a window in something. So I'll keep that. Also, those turbos right there, I'll scrap those. 2JZ GTE USDM turbos. They are very undesirable. Try to get $100 for them for a very long time. And as you can see, they're still sitting there. Also some Volkswagen turbos that I got a long time ago. They were good, they probably still are, but I don't want to have to deal with them. So I'm just gonna pitch those or just throw those all in scrap. And then I'm gonna keep all these bars. So that one right there is a water shut off and turn on for like the city. And so is the other ones as well. So those are kind of nice to have. They came with the container when I bought it. And other than that, I'll pretty much just pitch everything else and just kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm really happy. Ooh, I don't want to forget that. So this is RB26, the coolant, pretty much a coolant feed for the turbos and the whole engine. And those are pretty hard to come by. So I don't want to forget this because, yeah, I'm not going to use it, but if I want to sell it or somebody needs one, it's a good one. Other than this one line right here that's bent. So I don't know, we'll see. But I don't want to get rid of it quite yet. So I'll throw that in my truck right now. But yeah, very happy that this container is now empty. And it was a process. So my shop is, my other shop is very, very cluttered. Right now I started organizing, so I started bringing stuff over, then I started organizing, and then I'm like, well, it's already been 3 hours and I need to, go get the rest of the stuff out of the container. So I need to pretty much wire up my friend's car, get my friend's car out of there, then I'll have space to pretty much just pull a bunch of stuff off the shelves and then just kind of go from there. But what I'm gonna do now is drop all this stuff off. The 40-foot's empty and I have those plastic pallets. I'll probably start putting some stuff on those plastic pallets and organizing it. And I need to put some stuff in the 240SX and the 240Z and just kind of go from there, just so there isn't a bunch of stuff laying around and a bunch of clutter, so I can still work on the charger project. This was just a very unfortunate surprise. And the people that bought this property are like, you have 10 days to get out. So that is a pretty big undertaking when you have shipping containers full of stuff. And probably tomorrow, what I'm gonna do is actually come with a trailer, have a guy load up the scrap cars that I have. Actually have one parts 3000 DT. I'll take that over to the junkyard. And there's a 240SX I sold a year and a half ago to the guy, and he never picked it up. So I'll take that over there because whatever's left here, shipping containers included, the people said that they're gonna come haul them off to the scrap yard and just have everything crushed. So yeah, and I have already sold my shipping containers. They sold very quickly. So I just didn't want all my stuff that I need for projects and stuff like that to get scrapped or anything like that. So let's get this stuff over to the junkyard. I also, actually before we go, I also forgot I had this piece of aluminum diamond plating, and this stuff is probably, because I think it's almost a quarter, I think it's a quarter inch. This stuff is probably really, really expensive now. I had to run to the store and get some of these bearing things for my trailer and then some grease. So if this would have happened when I was, traveling across country, I probably would have burned a wheel bearing out. So these little rubber caps back here, they pretty much just kind of, they just kind of sit in there and hold the grease in. But this one just popped out. So I checked the wheel bearing, it's fine. It wasn't overheating or anything, but it just starts flinging all the grease out. And when you end up not having any grease in there, left in there, then you end up with a big problem. So that's gonna be the end of this video, and I'm just glad that I'm finally done moving all of the stuff out of the shipping containers and all of the stuff at that shop complex. So it was a big undertaking. I mean, it was a lot of stuff, and I got it done, I think in like 5 days. They gave us 10 days to get out, but I had to come to California to help my grandma move. So what I'm gonna be doing is pretty much I'm not exactly sure yet. So she got a quote for like $15,000, I think it was, to move all the stuff that was left at her house, which isn't very much stuff. So what I'm trying to do is, shipping containers are really high in Colorado right now, and I'm getting a quote from a shipping container company. I'm gonna see if they can drop one off here. I can load it up with, you know, somebody else, maybe hire somebody off of Facebook Marketplace in a day, and then have a company come pick it up, deliver it to Colorado, and then pretty much, you know, when it's all said and done, get all our stuff to Colorado for free. So, and then we'll drive the car back, which I'm gonna be here for a week, and it's just kind of like a 4th of July vacation kind of thing. So I've been working on the Charger for, you know, a year straight almost, and it's just, I haven't taken any vacations. So I'm gonna go hang out up in camp, and then in a week I'll be pretty much back, and then hopefully we can get all this stuff back as well, and just kind of go from there. But that's gonna be the end of this video. If you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.